Okay, it's just after 5:30, so I know more families will be joining us throughout tonight's event, but why don't we get started for all of you who joined us on time. Thank you so much for making time out of your day to join us for our second coffee talk with Nuuanu Elementary School Principal Ned Uemae. I'm Moani Wright-Benals, the president of Aikane o Nuuanu, again, your parent-teacher organization. We're happy to be here tonight and hope you guys are all at home, safe, and keeping dry after the crazy weather we've been having all week long. If this is your first time joining us, just a couple of housekeeping items. All attendees are currently muted with your video off in order to have the best experience possible. If you have questions throughout this event, feel free to type that away in the Q&A box right there at the bottom of your screen. I'll be monitoring it and we'll be sure to get to your question during the event. If for some reason we run long, we'll work with principal to get those addressed afterwards. But again, type those in that Q&A box at any point during tonight's event. We'll run till about 6:30 or until we run out of questions. So that's how long you can plan for this to go for. And before we actually begin, I'd like to first start with some Aikane o Nuuanu announcements. We want to thank you all from the bottom of our hearts. We have had an amazing fundraiser going on, which is not done. It is not done, but it is going so well and has far surpassed our hopes and dreams. For those of you who don't know, we have been doing a Dance Fit fundraiser this week. All of our kids have been getting active. There's been a video they can watch and dance along to. Even if they aren't watching that, we've been encouraging them to just get out and dance or move, go walking, do something active in order to get healthy. And in order to raise money, we've been saying, go and talk to friends and families can donate money to encourage our kids to dance or encourage our kids to move. So families can donate a flat donation, or they can donate per minute with a 35-minute cap for each family. And our goal was $15,000. So putting it into perspective, $15,000, that would probably air condition about one building. For one building, that's 2 classrooms on our campus. That costs us about $8,000 to do. To replace, our Chromebooks on campus, that's about $300 to $500, plus maybe any other kind of technology upgrades we wanted. So we felt $15,000 that gets us one AC in a building at least, that gives us some money to do some tech upgrades. So we set that goal. We have surpassed that goal. We are at now over $24,000, thanks to the hard work of everyone on this line and the many families who couldn't join us tonight. So thank you, thank you, thank you. Again, it is not over. This fundraiser, the dancing goes until tomorrow. So tomorrow, don't forget, upload your minutes onto the Google form so that we can track how much minutes your kids have done for great prizes. We have prizes such as the grand prize is a scooter. We have different fitness equipment, inflatables, fun packs, things that our kids love at family fun night, which we would normally have, but we can't this year because of COVID. So this is our big fundraiser. So again, you have until tomorrow to keep moving, and you have all the way until next week Friday to keep giving. So keep telling your friends and family about it. Encourage them to keep giving money. The more we raise, the more we get to do for our beloved school. So thank you, thank you, thank you again for everything you guys have been doing to support Aikane o Nuuanu. I know you're not here to see me though, so why don't we get over to our principal. Welcome back, Principal Uemae, for your second coffee talk.
Thank you. It's good to be back. I look forward to all just the yes and no questions for tonight.
Oh, I hope you learned from the last time. We don't unfortunately have any yes or no questions tonight. Okay. But why don't we start with some things that have been happening around campus. We finally have all of our kids back on campus. 5th graders returned at the start of this month. How's it going to have all the grade levels back?
I think I know the teachers are excited to have everybody back, and I know the students are happy to see their friends, face to face in the classrooms. We have all our mitigation strategies that are in place. So, I feel very confident that, things are going well. It's nice to see all the smiling faces behind their masks, of course, enjoying themselves being in the classroom. And I know the teachers are really happy to have everybody back as well. So I think things are going great.
Awesome. And we're in the middle of Spirit Week. I think tomorrow is our second day of picture taking, crazy sock wear.
Right.
It's been awesome seeing the kids dress up even when they're at home. You know, how's that going? And second part is the photo taking. Tomorrow is the last day of photo taking. If families miss photo taking, what can they do?
Okay, so the Spirit Week has been super fun. I mean, I've seen some unreal like costumes and the aloha wear, and some students have been super creative with their out of this world dresses and their hats and all that. So even the faculty and staff have participated in it. So it's been a super fun week. Despite the rain and all that kind of stuff, it's been really fun. As for picture taking, yeah, today was the first day. I think it was cohort A that was in today. So those students had their pictures today. Tomorrow is for cohort B. If for some reason students are not able to make it, or they need to do a retake for whatever may be, the retake dates are April 6th and April 7th. And those dates are also going to be scheduled for our 5th grade graduation pictures, and also for our distance learners to come in on those days as well for picture taking. We're still trying to create a schedule for those 2 days. We may do it more alphabetically by last name so that parents don't have to make multiple trips to the school. So we're still working on those, I guess, the schedule for that. But again, yeah, tomorrow's cohort B, picture taking. And then retakes are on April 6th, which is a Tuesday, April 6th, and Wednesday, April 7th, retakes. Also graduation pictures for our 5th graders, and also for the distance learners.
Awesome, thank you. We'll look forward to the details when they come out as well.
Sure.
Speaking of 5th graders, the last time we talked, we're trying to just wrap up the end of the year and what are some of the different kind of activities that would typically happen. And one of the questions is around 5th grade graduation. Just a couple of weeks ago, the DOE had announced that it was allowing some limited in-person graduation ceremonies. What are the plans for Nuuanu Elementary's 5th grade graduation?
So just gonna let me preface it by saying, as of today, which is March 11th, okay, I just want to make sure we're clear, it's as of today, because things always change in the DOE, right? So our plans is to have a drive-through graduation. It looks like it'll probably be on the last day of the students, for student days. I think it's on Friday, May 28th. It looks like it'll be after school, but we're still working on the details on that. It's a kind of a long ways away, but yet not a long ways away. But we do plan to have a graduation. But right now, because of certain restrictions, I know they're opening, things up and so forth, but our plan is to do a drive-by graduation as of this point. If things change and we're able to adjust our plans, we will make sure we let our parents know. But yes, we will have it, and we have it scheduled for May 28th, which is a Friday.
Thank you. I know a lot of our families and our 5th grade families would really love an in-person graduation, and they've been asking for that. What would it take, or is there a reasoning why Nuuanu is not at this moment, as of today, March 11th, as you said, not considering an actual in-person graduation?
So we had a meeting with I met with the 5th grade teachers, maybe about 2 weeks ago, maybe 3 weeks ago. We're kind of discussing various options. And at that time, because of the numbers the way they were, there was no like face-to-face coming to school and all these kind of things about maybe 3 weeks ago, 4 weeks ago. That was the plan that we had in place. DOE, I hear things like, high school guys can come back and they can like exercise and train and things like that, but no sporting events here and there. So things are always changing. And depending on the guidance that we get from DOE superintendent and her leadership team, we'll make adjustments accordingly. But sometimes we hear things in the media and it's not always accurate. And sometimes the media jumps to it without knowing all the information, like things are still being planned out and so forth. And then it kind of causes parents to get a little anxious because they're hearing things in the news, but it may not be as accurate as it's supposed to be portrayed. So when things open up and we have like official DOE memos and official confirmation from like our complex area superintendent that this is the guidance and this is what we can do, then that's kind of stuff that we can move on. But I hate to move on things and then later on tell parents, oh, I'm so sorry, we need to retract what you said, because then that causes more confusion and upset people. And that's something that I don't want. So that's why we try to take things one step at a time.
Understand. Thank you. And thank you for being flexible. I know that you guys are having to monitor all those different DOE memos, monitor everything happening in the news to constantly adjust. And that's been the world for the past year. Today is the 1 year anniversary of COVID, by the way, someone reminded me. So I can't believe it's been 1 year since we've all been living this way. Let me jump over. So let's go back to talking about just the plans for students returning in person.
Okay.
Speaking of the media, there's been a whole lot of talk lately. There was at one point a news article about all the kids will return after spring break. That was since retracted, but there's still a lot of talk about how do we get the most amount of kids back to school in person. And I know Nuuanu recently sent out a survey to families asking our thoughts and opinions on that. Can you share with us kind of what's going on right now and what's in consideration?
Okay, so I think last week or slightly a week and a half ago, the superintendent, supposedly in the media, made a comment about all students in elementary will be returning to school on March 22nd. I like that, but I had a lot of emails because of that, a lot of calls and everything. I just flooded our office, but that's terrific. But nothing wasn't really official. So, according to what she said a few days later, I guess they were in planning phases, but I guess the media jumped on it and said all schools are going to be back. And it was news kind of to us and to the teachers and like, oh, we got to get going. There's only like 2 more weeks before spring break and kids are coming back, right? So what happened was later on, it was retracted and it said like, students can start getting students back by April 5th, maximizing as many kids as you possibly could on campus. So our official date that we're going to be trying to get as many kids back on campus is on April 5th. And so I met with our teachers on Monday. We met again on Wednesday. We're planning to meet again on Friday. We have some plans in place and some options. We're just waiting to make sure that even with the unions and so forth, we don't want to jump the gun and say we're going to do this. And then, HSTA comes in and says, oh, we got to do it this way, or UPW, whatever union comes in, like it's not confirmed yet. So, before I really send out an official letter to our parents, which I have to do by maybe tomorrow evening, I'll send a letter at home to say that everybody can see what our plans are. I don't want to jump the gun. And I've had conversations with parents, like, certain schools are opening up, all certain schools are doing these things, but every school is different. And what I mean by that, it's so difficult to compare our school versus another school and another school. And I'm just going to give you an example of what I mean by that. Okay. So, for example, in the morning, we have breakfast for our students. Every school kind of offers breakfast, right? So we have about maybe 10 to 15 kids who come in for breakfast in the morning. That's not too bad. That's pretty manageable for our size of our cafeteria, right? And so when the students leave, we wipe down the tables to sanitize it to make sure everything is clean, right? Now try and imagine a school that has 150 kids that come in for breakfast within a half an hour period, right? And now you got kindergarteners coming at 7:15, you got fifth graders coming at 7:20, you got fourth graders coming at 7:40. Parents drop them off at all different times, right? Like during lunch, we can control that because we have a break, a half an hour lunch period for kindergarten, half an hour for first grade, half an hour for second grade. We have that in our schedule. But can you imagine schools having to deal with 150 plus kids coming for breakfast at all random times, right? For that half an hour time. It's kind of chaotic. So again, it comes down to your facilities, how big it is, how much personnel do you have that can clean tables, watch the kids, make sure they socially distance and so forth. So there's so many other scenarios I can give to you, but for parents, I understand the concern because, oh, so in school already sent out a memo saying that they're going to open up. How come you're not doing anything right now? And I get it. You hear it in the news. You have friends and other families and that are doing things. Schools are doing things differently. But I'm just going to tell you, it's very difficult to compare one school versus another. And for me, I want to make sure that we have the okay, the approval, the concrete guidance that this is what the rules are. Because it's so hard to tell parents after the fact that, hey, the rules have changed, so we're going to do in this direction now. And that's going to get parents, a lot more upset. So I try to wait as long as I possibly can to get information out. Because if things change, it's just a hassle for me to have to go back and retract statements that I've made.
Thank you. One of the things in the survey was around the 6 feet social distancing, which I know has always been a concern for Nuuanu. I know you've said, in the past as well, and we've heard that previously that, it's just not physically possible to accommodate all of our kids back to campus at a 6-foot distance. So if I remember correctly, the survey had asked if we would be okay with that being changed. Is that something that's being considered still right now as you guys are discussing?
So the guidance that we have from the superintendent and the leadership team above is 6 feet physical distancing, or to the greatest extent possible. Kind of similar to what you guys probably heard in June and July with the same concept, 6 feet social distancing or physical distancing, or to the greatest extent possible. So in the cafeteria, when students are eating, the masks have to come off right when they eat. So it's non-negotiable that when the masks come off, students have to be at minimum 6 feet apart. However, in the classroom, because masks are on, they're allowed to be a little bit closer than 6 feet. What that exact number is, it's to the greatest extent possible. And I just want to reassure parents that, we do have mitigation strategies, layered mitigation strategies in place. And what I mean by that, I think we may have like over 20 of them. So for example, we do temperature checks every morning before children can come on our campus. Staff also need to take their temperature before they are able to work on our campus. If people are sick, have a cough and so forth, we also ask them to go home, and they have to go and get either a COVID test, wait out 10 days, or get a doctor's note, right? We have separated recesses where each class will have their own designated area and time for recess. We have hand sanitizers, we have kids wash their hands. We try to do the 6 feet social distancing as best as possible by having markers all over the campus so students are safe. So we have windows open, we have air purifiers in the classrooms for those who request for air purifiers. So we're trying to do everything as possible to keep your children safe and our staff safe. And as we get more information about the greatest extent possible, right now it could be under 6 feet in the classroom.
Thank you for clarifying that. And thank you. We know you guys have been doing a lot to take care of our children. And I remember from the last talk story that safety is your #1 priority.
Sure. Yes, I want to say yes, it is. It is.
Thank you. Well, let's talk about, so what I heard is April 5th is the tentative timeline right now to get folks back in school. You're still finalizing some details and are aiming to get on an official memo to families, hopefully tomorrow night or sometime very soon. What about those full distance learners? If those who are currently in a full distance learning module, are they going to be allowed to finish out the 4th quarter as a full distance learner?
So that was the talk that we had, or discussion we had as a faculty as well. And as of today, I'm going to have to say, if you signed up that contract for full distance learning, then you would remain in that full distance learning. And I've been going both ways with this, and it was a struggle, constant struggle for me, because right now we have teachers who have been working with students face to face throughout this whole, I guess, the last 3 quarters and so forth. And then you have the distance learning teachers who have been working so hard with their with their students online as well. Right now we know exactly how many students are in the classroom right now. We can determine social distancing, we can determine pacing, how fast or how slow we can go. But when you have new students that come in, it kind of changes the dynamics of everything. And for those parents who feel, oh yeah, I feel comfortable with my child being in a class of like 15 or whatever it may be, and now you have 6 more kids just come in, that parent may now be thinking, oh, I'm not sure if I'm comfortable with having 21 kids in the class now that, if initially it was 15, right? But now other kids came in from the distance learning. And it's so difficult because it really depends on what grade level you are. Some grade levels, the class sizes are big already, like the upper grades, they're really big already. By adding 2 or 3 more kids, it really makes it a little bit more difficult and challenging for the teachers in the classroom. And for me, I'm always, like I said, I'm always thinking about safety, right? So I want to make sure everybody is safe, right? And even our teachers, they're like first responders almost, they're working in some tough conditions, and they want to provide the best that they can for your child so that they get their education, they don't fall behind. So, things like that. As of today, I'm just going to say again, like for the distance learning students will have to remain at distance learning for the remainder of the quarter.
Thank you. Families, if you joined a little bit late, I just want to remind you as well, you can feel free to send in questions that you may have using that Q&A box at the bottom of your screen. I am monitoring it and have been asking the ones that have come in so far. So feel free to add any questions in there. Okay, thank you. Okay, so just to recap again, April 5th is the timeline. A memo's coming out. If you're in a full distance learning, you have signed a contract to finish out the year, and the current plan is that those distance learners would finish out the year as a distance learner.
Sure. And so I got to add to that as well, because the DOE is pushing out a online program called K-12 Learning Solutions. It's not a CELIS, but it's very similar to a CELIS. And so what that entails is it'll be students working at their independent pace, at their own pace, and there needs to be a learning coach to help them. And we put a link on our school website so you can see information about the K-12 Learning Solutions, the program, online program, along with a flyer as well. But that learning coach, according to what was in the video that I watched, is the parent, is the learning coach. Okay, there is no teacher involved. It is strictly the student going online, working on the assignments that is given to them or given to her, and parents would be there to support their child. Teachers will periodically monitor here and there, but it's not an instruction where you're going to see the teacher live on the other end of the camera giving instruction. So that, again, that's a push that the DOE is saying that's a good program that we could kind of use for our school. So depending how our plans go and all that, I don't anticipate changing our DL students who are in, I guess it's first grade, second grade, third and fourth, fifth grade with Miss Tupper and Miss Miguel. They will continue on with them. But if there's people that decide to change out from face-to-face, they will probably be put into a K-12 Learning Solutions program. Because right now, Miss Miguel and Miss Tupper have a lot of kids in their class that they're working with. And so I just wanted to make that clear in case you decide, hey, you know what, then I would rather move to a face-to-face, I'd rather move out from face-to-face to a distance learning program. It would be the K-12 Learning Solutions program that your child would be put in. And we'll have you guys sign up. And then again, when we start on April 5th, we'll try to get you in that program by April 5th.
Thank you. Silly question, but that program is really only for those who move out to a full distance learning. Like, we couldn't use that as a supplement for our children's education on top of what they're already doing in school.
No, but I don't think, no, we can't do that, because I think the DOE asked us for names and so forth. So we're gonna have to give specific names of who is going to be on the program. And because I think the DOE is trying to pay for the licenses. So as a school, we don't have to pay. Well, that's what I was told. We don't have to pay. I'm going to knock on wood, because if we have to pay, oh my God, we already paid for the Acelis program that we're not really using. But the DOE said that they would pay for the licenses as of today. They said they would. But again, things can change, right? So if I have to do some car washes or whatever and pay for the licenses, then I'll do that for your children.
Yeah. Well, good thing we've got the dance fit competition going on right now, guys. Just keep donating in case you need it for that. I want to do a quick shout out though, because you mentioned the website. So I just want to give a big shout out for families who actually haven't been to the Nuuanu Elementary School website in a while. It has been revamped and is being constantly revamped. I think our new technology teacher is Colleen.
Colleen Skrimstad. Yeah, she's doing a wonderful job. I mean, don't hype it up too much, because we're still working on it. It's like maybe we got like 10% done, you know. So we plan to add some aerial shots of the campus and so forth. We got some people taking some shots for us and so forth. So we'll see how it goes. But yeah, we're working on it. It's like 10% better, I guess. Yeah.
Getting better. It's good. Thank you. You know, so you said earlier about the safety of our teachers are paramount, and our staff. They're first responders. Have all of our faculty and staff been given the option to get vaccinated yet?
Yep. So I believe all of our staff have been given the option, and it's up to them if they wanted to take advantage of it or not. But I know we've had a bunch of staff who had to be out the next day or 2 days because that second dose. So I don't know what happened, but even for me, I was kind of like, wow, I was kind of out of it for the second day. But they've come back afterwards, and they're troopers, so they come back and they do what they got to do in the classroom. So yeah, I believe I think all of them did get an option, but I cannot say if all of them did get the vaccination.
No, that's wonderful to hear. I'm glad that that they were all given the option, because that's important that all of our frontline folks get that
Sure.
option to go get vaccinated. Awesome. Okay, I'm going to move over to some other questions. I know I asked you this last month, but I'm going to ask you again if there's any plans to resume with gifted and talented program nomination and testing.
So we do have a gifted and talented program. So I have to retract what I said like a month ago, because that was, I think I was 2 weeks in when we had this meeting. So we do have a gifted and talented program. Ms. Burns is running it. She runs it like an enrichment program for 3, 4, and 5. I believe, I think my understanding is, I think in the fourth quarter, we do some type of assessment, and then it's for the next school year. So we are looking into doing that again. I think we were supposed to do that last school year, I guess in April, but because of the COVID-19, we weren't able to do the assessments for those third graders. But we do have a GT program. I gotta double check if it's third grade involved. If third grade might not be in there, might be only for fourth and fifth right now, because third grade didn't get a chance to get, or second graders going to third grade didn't get a chance to get assessed last school year. So we will have a GT program next year, yes.
Great. So this year, there's none, since we weren't able to assess the students last year, but in Q4 of this year, there'll be a test, and that will be for next year.
The second graders from last year going to third grade were not assessed for a GT program, but I believe the third, fourth graders from last school year moved on to fourth and fifth, so they're in a GT program.
Great, thank you. Thanks for that clarification. Okay, moving on to summer school. There was a summer school survey that went out not too long ago. I believe it closed out maybe a week or two ago. Do you have the results of that survey? And also, what are the plans?
Okay, so we did send out a survey because we wanted to see how many parents or students would be interested in attending our summer program. And I believe we had about maybe 77 parents sign up, which is pretty good, pretty good for us. So because of the enrollment or participation is kind of high, we do plan to have a summer program, and it'll start on June 4th, which is a Friday, June 4th, Friday. And it'll be a 4-week program till July 2nd. So it'll be 20 days. It's kind of weird to start on a Friday, but I believe the following Friday is Kamehameha Day, that's why. So starts on June 4th. It'll end on July 2nd, and it'll be from 8 to 12 o'clock. One of the things that we have to really consider is, depending on your enrollment, that's how much the cost, there's a cost analysis you have to do to break even and so forth. And so we're running those numbers to make sure we have a good number, and we have enough to pay our teachers and our staff. But I'm also trying to see if we can jump onto the DOE and see if we can be a learning hub. There's criteria to be a learning hub. And I don't want to like say we're going to be a learning hub and this and that, but I'm just throwing it out there. The reason why we're being very careful with this is, once the DOE can distinguish what the learning hub entails, if they're able to fund our program, then it would be possibly free for our parents, right? So I don't quote me on that. I'm just trying to see, I'm just trying to wait to get more guidance. So that's why I haven't really sent out much information about how much it costs and all that, because I really don't know right now. If we can get it for free, I bet you all the parents would probably love that. But if we cannot, then there's going to be, we have to pay some type of fee. I'm not sure exactly how much yet, but when I work out the numbers, we'll get that to the parents. But I want to say I should be able to get the information out to parents. I'm hoping by March 29th. Okay, so you can look for March 29th, March 30th. I know it's cohort A, cohort B. I'm going to try to get the information out to parents. Hopefully the DOE has information by then. And then what we'll probably do is we'll ask parents to drop their application form off on April 7th. Right now, it looks like it would kind of be on a first come, first served basis, because some classes are slightly bigger than others. Because of the social distancing and so forth, we wanted to try to cap it at like 15 to 16. I think 15 we said, but some classes got like 20 kids that want to participate in that grade level. And so, just to make it safe for everybody in the classroom, we wanted to cap it at 15. So we'll see how it goes. But again, the 29th is when I'm going to try to get all those forms out. I know there's cohort A, cohort B. So cohort B will get their forms on the 30th, but we're not going to accept any forms until April 7th, which is a Wednesday, kind of on a first come, first served basis. So everybody has an equal chance of filling out the forms, getting it ready, and submitting their payment the same time.
Thank you. Will the summer school program allow students not at Nuuanu Elementary School to join?
We're gonna have primarily, it's gonna just be for Nuuanu students only. Yeah, so if somebody wanted to go to a summer program, I want to say it's either Lincoln or Poa that's holding an official summer. I think it was Poa that's holding the official summer school site. So if there's somebody that's looking to go into a summer program, they can try to either call Poa. Don't call me. I think it's Poa or Lincoln. One of those two sites are the official summer school sites.
Great. And will the summer school program be an in-person learning program or virtual?
Okay, so the summer school program will be face-to-face and in person. And again, I had to check with A plus to see if A plus is willing to do morning care and afternoon care as well. Morning care, they wanted at least 20 students, I think. And then afternoon, there was like, I forget, it was like 30, but it was beyond that. Like all the people, like the majority of the parents said they want that afternoon care program. So I think it'll be a no-brainer. When it comes to cost, it comes down to that cost analysis again. So when I asked A plus how much it would cost for a after school program, they couldn't give me an exact number until they get an official count. And then I think the morning was kind of set. Possibly, I think it was $65 for the morning care if they wanted to. But again, it depends on the numbers for the morning care for them to run it. So once we start getting forms in, I'll let the A plus know. I guess parents would sign up differently. They wouldn't use our summer school registration form. The YMCA would provide a link or registration forms on their own, and parents would submit it directly to the YMCA. So although they're helping us, we don't collect any forms or any money for the YMCA. They will take care of that themselves.
Awesome. That's great to hear. I know many families would welcome a in-person summer school program, and having that after-school care definitely is very helpful. Families, as a reminder, if you have questions, feel free to, again, type that in that Q&A box at the bottom. I'm monitoring it and have been able to ask all the questions submitted so far. Going to kind of the future again, any thoughts? I know we talked about it last time again, but May Day, any new updates on any plans for May Day or any of the other kind of end of year activities other than fifth grade graduation? Because we've talked about that.
You know, I don't think we're gonna have. I'm gonna say as of today, we're not having a May Day program. I think it takes a lot of work to get the kids prepared and so forth, and even having visitors on campus, we're still not allowed to have our visitors on campus. So as of today, there is probably not going to be any May Day because it takes a lot of preparation. It's not just have the May Day and we're good. There's so many things that are involved in that. In addition to the social distancing, and you know, we may have a new schedule for reopening and so forth. There's a lot of things that teachers are going to have to plan for and prepare for. So unfortunately, probably not this school year.
Got it. Thank you. A question just came in our Q&A about air conditioning. A parent had heard that some of the air conditionings might not be working or operating in one of the classrooms. Can you share a little bit about that? Is that true, or what's going on?
Okay, so I think this is my 8th week here at Nuuanu, and it's been a joy. Like all these like things just pop up all of a sudden, you know, and it's kind of funny where I guess one of the buildings when you turn the AC unit on, the bell rings, right? So I was like, wow, how come every time the bell is ringing so loud? It's just ringing, 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 right? So they told me, oh yeah, certain buildings when you turn the AC unit on, this particular bell rings, right? So okay, we'll try troubleshooting, find out what's going on, call the electrician, we call the people who installed it, call facilities. Well, long story short, to remedy the problem, I just asked the guy, can you just disconnect that particular bell so it doesn't ring anymore? So, okay. So we tried the AC units, the ACs worked fine. So I was like, perfect. I can live with it because we're going to get a new phone system that has a new bell system and all that in there. I don't know when, but we'll get it hopefully within a year. So long story short, we're having lunch in the cafeteria. I'm in there, I'm watching the kids, and all of a sudden I hear this other bell start ringing, right? I'm like, what is going on? Why is the bell ringing? So I went to check on the classroom that had their AC on, and yeah, they turned the AC on for a little while, and now another bell is ringing. So I was like, what is going on over here? So anyway, call the companies again. Hey, what can you do to help solve this problem? But you know, it hasn't rung today. The ACs were on. It didn't hear any bells. So there's something like there's maybe a glitch or something. I'm not sure. But the bell is on the farthest side of our campus by the entrance area. So I'm sure it just annoys the neighbors over there, but it doesn't annoy us on the campus side. So your children still have a quality education. But I'm waiting to hear the complaints from the neighbors in the area who hear the bell ringing all the time. So, but it hasn't rung yet. So we'll see what happens. But we're going to try to get it repaired.
Thanks. We'll keep our fingers crossed, and I know Aikane is the one who installed the air conditioning, so we will
No,
work
but
with.
it's not you guys. It's not you guys. There's like a signal that goes off, and I called one of the guys, and he said, Ned, you're kind of lucky because there's a certain school out there. Whenever they run the Xerox copy machine, the bell rings. I was like, oh, thank goodness we're not that school because we make so many copies, right? The thing would be ringing all day, right? So whatever school that is, I'm not sure it is, but what he said, whenever they ran the Xerox machine, the bell would ring. So we're kind of fortunate, I guess. Yeah.
Crazy. All right, I'm going to ask some more questions. We have thank you families who are submitting questions in our Q&A box. Again, feel free to send that
Ask
over.
the easy questions. Yes and no. Easy questions.
Well, this is like sort of yes and no. Will the summer school program be available for fifth graders who are graduating this year? Or do they need to go to a summer school at middle school instead?
Yeah, they would have to apply for enroll at a middle school. That I didn't follow up on a middle school that's doing a summer program, but like the feeder school for us would be like I think Kwananakoa, or you could try and even ask Stevenson if they're running any kind of summer program. But yeah, we don't have anything for fifth graders going to sixth grade.
Got it. Thank you. And then one more question about A+, the current A+ program for the after school care at Nuuanu Elementary. Do you know if they're still accepting additional enrollments?
I believe they still are. I believe they still are accepting enrollments. Yes.
And for the families, I want to say that we'll work and get something posted on our website about what the email is for the A+ program. So that you can go ahead and email them or call them. I just enrolled my children not too long ago as well, and they were still accepting enrollments at that time. So we'll get some contact information up on our website at nuuanuschool.org, so you can feel free to call as well if you don't already have that.
Yeah.
Awesome. Well, like you said, it's your second month on the job. It's been an exciting time. Any new pearls of wisdom that you've realized with our school or anything you'd like to share?
Well, I know we have this discussion a lot with our staff, and one of the things like I always mention is about school safety, right, and health. And I love Nuuanu School. It's so beautiful, it's so luscious, it's so green, right? And you stand on certain parts of our campus and you can watch the sunset. You have a great view of the ocean and the mountains and so forth. And I think that's the reason why a lot of our community like to come and visit our school, and they like to walk around our school because it's covered all the way around. So whether it rains, they walk through our campus. Our gym is kind of like open, so some people park on the street, they walk in, and the thing that we're concerned about is just student safety. And so, how do you determine who's allowed on our campus and who's not on our campus, right? So I know during the school day, we're pretty good. There's nobody that comes to visit us, but it's just late in the afternoons, like 5:30. People walk on our campus. They bring their dogs and they walk on our campus and they play in our covered courts and so forth. So I don't want to be a Scrooge and all that, but I think I might have to start asking people to stop visiting our campus because it could be a liability issue for the school. If you bring your dog and say the dog gets away from the leash and there happens to be an A+ child after school walking by and it gets bit, just things like that. I mean, it may never happen, right? But it's just going to happen one time, right? And then something could happen, right? So I don't want to be a Scrooge, but it kind of looks as if though we may have to start asking, whether the community members or whoever it is to stop using our facilities. Because right now, use of facilities is no one's supposed to be using facilities on Saturdays and Sundays. And I would come on the weekends and I see martial arts guys with knives. I see guys doing Tai Chi in the gym. See people, throwing the ball and their dogs are running across our field, just things like that. So it's hard to say, oh, you can and you cannot, so if you come on our campus and I happen to say, oh, I'm so sorry, we're not allowed on our campus, don't get mad at me. I just got to make sure I'm consistent across the board so that I let everybody, whether it's a parent or a community member or somebody skateboarding on our campus last night, I just have to tell you, I'm sorry, but you need to leave our campus. So again, don't get upset with me. I'm not trying to be a Scrooge. I just want to make sure we keep our campus safe.
Thank you. It's a good reminder, especially now with COVID, the additional precautions that need to be taken to sterilize the equipment before our kids touch things as well. So that's a very good reminder. Families, I'm not seeing any additional questions, and those were all the ones that were sent in.
I can continue. I can continue and just add that stuff if you want until you get more questions.
How about another dance for those who didn't see the dance video?
I don't know if I can do that again. That I had like 100 tries for that one. It didn't come out as well as I wanted it to, but the teachers are fabulous. The teachers that are on campus that are supporting your children, man, they're awesome. They have good hearts and they were troopers, man. They did a good job. So
yeah, they are. I know many of the families I spoke with said their kids came home and got a kick out of the video. So please send our thanks to all the teachers for participating and making everyone's day. Actually, before we end, spring break is next week. So can you just remind families who may be traveling, whether it's out of state or off island, kind of what the protocols and procedures will be with regards to coming back to school afterwards?
Right. So I think currently right now, we put something in the school. Oh yeah, I gotta talk about the school messenger. Remind me to talk about the school messenger after this. Okay, so for travel, we encourage, if you're gonna go on a family trip, please have fun, stay safe. But just adhere to the guidelines about the return to Hawaii. I think what happens is I think you need to take a test. I think is it 72 hours before your flight, and you must get your results back prior to landing, I believe. So it has to be a negative test. If not, you're going to have to quarantine for, I believe it's 10 days or 12 days. I got to look back at the exact date, but you're going to have to quarantine unless you got that negative result prior to landing. Or is it prior to landing or is it prior to,
I thought it was boarding. I could be wrong, but I know it is on your website. So
yeah, it is. It's
on the website right now. You can prior to landing per one of our family members.
Yeah, I think it's prior to landing. You have to get that, or else you have to quarantine for 10 days. And I believe even if you got the shot or whatever it may be, I think you still would need to quarantine for 10 days. I think so. Yeah.
Thank you. And families, again, that is on the website, so you can go look at it. And if you're planning to travel, and make sure you're following all the protocols. But school messenger.
Yeah. So thank you for reminding me. School messenger. So I try to send out the messages whenever we get updates on things. I'm going to be using the school messenger account to give you guys information as best as possible. When things come up and it's important, I want to make sure you guys get it via email. And so for us, it's easier because whatever we have at Infinite Campus, it has your child's like emergency contact, parents' first call, second call, whatever information is updated in that Infinite Campus, it gets pulled into School Messenger. So when I send out a message blast to the parents, it's pulling from that School Messenger. So all the information that you provided the school, if it's updated, you will get the School Messenger. So if you change your email addresses or you change your phone numbers or whatever it may be, please let the office know. So that way, when we do send out messages to you, you'll get all the messages and you can be able to respond. Or it seems like everybody is getting the messages, because when I get a printout, it kind of shows me like almost 100% of the parents are getting it. Whether you open it or not, that's up to you. I know some of my information can be a little boring and dry, so I don't want to listen to that again. That's fine, you don't have to, but as long as you get it, that's the main thing, So, but if you can, opportunity to read it, please read it. That's how we get information out to our parents.
Thank you, Principal. I've personally been reading it. It's been very helpful to have the emails coming consistently and all the information in one, so you can just kind of refer back to that one email. So that's been very helpful. Okay. We had another parent said it was prior to boarding. So the jury is out on what it is, other than I can tell you again, it's on our website about spring break travel information, or on the school's website. So please just go and refer to that. Before I forget, actually, yearbook that came up last month, and I know something came out. We are having a yearbook this year, and I saw that families can submit photos. Can you share a little bit more about the yearbook plans?
Okay, so Miss Burns has been nice enough to, I guess, start a yearbook to create it and so forth. So teachers are able to upload videos, or not videos, but pictures to a certain website. But we also wanted to get some parent involvement as well. So Ms. Burns had reached out to House of Photography, who is taking our yearbook pictures today and also tomorrow. And they created a link that you can go to as parents to upload photos of your child or other children at the school, and you can upload it onto this site. Parents will not have access to see the pictures that are on that site. Only House of Photography, the personnel, and possibly whoever school personnel is in charge of, which would be Miss Burns, is able to see the pictures on there. So when you upload the picture, if you could kind of be sure that you're kind of specific as to, your child's name or the grade level and what teacher and so forth, so we can put it in the right place. Now, just because you upload that picture into House of Photography's link, that picture may not always just show up may not show up on the yearbook, because there are some parents who had wished opted out from pictures of their child or so forth being broadcast in certain areas or certain publications. And if they didn't want their child in the yearbook, then we would have to eliminate that picture if that child happens to be in that picture. So, and don't get mad at Miss Burns if we get like 1,000 pictures and we can't put your picture in there. Don't send her emails or call me or anything like that. We'll do the best that we can to get the pictures in there. But yeah, so you can go to that link. It's on our website, I believe, and I think we sent it out via School Messenger. So you can go to that and you can upload pictures there.
That's exciting. That's cool that we can upload photos of our keiki
Sure.
at home.
Sorry, it's $10 too. It's $10. You can go online to order $10 on the link as well. Yeah.
Oh, great. Perfect. And I'm looking at the website right now. Those orders are due by April 15, 2021. So
Correct.
Everyone, upload your photos. That deadline's coming up right around the corner on March 26th, and then you can order all the way up until April 15th.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
Great. Well, I don't have any other questions. Do you have anything else you want to announce before I wrap up today's session?
Well, I kind of want to just thank the parents, in the afternoon when we go out to do pickups and so forth and drop offs. I mean, you guys have been awesome at, picking up your students on time, your children on time. So it really helps. And I know the system is kind of in place already, which is really good. And you guys have been helpful with those, I guess, those placards or those papers with your child's name on it. So if you don't have one, if you just put something together, just write your child's name on it, it makes it a little bit easier for us. But I say majority of the parents, you guys have been doing an awesome job of, having that displayed on your dashboard, which makes it so much more efficient for us. So thank you very much for all your support in that as well. And then have a great spring break. I mean, it's been a tough 3 quarters, I know. So make sure you spend some quality time with your children.
Thank you, Principal. Sorry, really quick clarifying question for the yearbook photos. Are we allowed to upload group photos?
Yeah, so that's what I was talking about. So if you do upload a group photo, but just so happens that one of the kids or children in that photo may not be allowed to have their picture distributed online or on a publication, we may not be able to use that photo. Yeah, we'll do our best to screen whatever we can, but we may not recognize everybody too in photos, right? So we'll do the best that we can.
Thank you. Do you have any fun spring break plans next week?
I think this is the first time I'm gonna go on a vacation with my wife. We're not flyers, we don't travel on the airplane, so we're going down to the Colino side to just hang out over there for a few days. But yeah, she's always wanted to do things, and I'm just really busy with school and work and stuff like that. So I'm trying to keep up with our staff. They're like on the ball, man. Our teachers are like workaholics, so I have to keep up with them, and they're keeping me on my toes. So I'm going to try to take a little bit of a break next week, but I know I still got to answer emails and calls and so forth. So yeah, hopefully I get some time to relax.
Awesome. Well, you enjoy your spring break. You deserve it. And it's been a wild ride for you so far, and we need you for the long haul. Some time to rest. Okay. Families, stay safe out there. Enjoy your spring break next week. As a reminder, we have these coffee talks the second Thursday of every month scheduled for the rest of this year. We have our monthly board meeting for Aikane, normally on the third Thursday, but because next week is spring break and we all wanted some time off with our families as well, it's been rescheduled for the fourth Thursday. So if you'd like to join us, that is open to all families. Please feel free to. Again, don't forget, dance, dance, dance. It's time to dance, dance, dance. Like, I don't know, that's the best dance I can do right now when you only see my face, but get those movements in. keep raising those funds, and don't forget to upload the total amount of minutes your keiki has done on that Google form tomorrow. Again, you can raise money all the way until next week, Friday. We will accept donations afterwards, not on the site, but if you want to cut us a check at any point, we'll happily take donations to support our school, get some more air conditioning in, do those technology upgrades, support our teachers, because we know many of them spend money out of their own pockets to support our keiki. So again, thank you, family, so much for all of your support. Stay safe and enjoy your spring break. Thanks for joining us.
Thank you, Aikane, too. Thank you very much for your time. Thank you very much, guys. Have a great break.
Thank you. Thank you, Principal.
All right, I'm gonna
we'll eat, and we'll see you at 7 o'clock.
7 o'clock. Okay. Thank you so much. Thank you very much. Thank you.
Bye. Bye.